If you want help with solving your anxiety, then this video is for you. Now I want you to take all the knowledge you have on anxiety about changing your diet and also regulating your nervous system, and I want to add on to that. Because the one place that we have not looked yet is our emotional self and how that can influence how we are anxious and how we experience anxiousness. And which is what I want to put forward, that we can actually solve our anxiety with our emotional self. Because everyone is trying to look at anxiousness and anxiety from a physical and a physiological level, but no one has looked yet how our emotional self can also impact it. And also maybe part of that is because no one wants to look at it, because it means that we actually have to be vulnerable. It means that we have to actually uncover our emotions, and that can be a tough thing to do, which I completely understand. And I say that our emotional self can help us solve our anxiety is because our emotional self is also what's connected to our nervous system. Because if we learn how to regulate our emotions, then we can learn how to regulate our nervous system. Which I would actually go a step further and say that if we want to learn how to regulate our nervous system, it's actually coming from our emotional self first before it ever reaches the nervous system. Or they just go hand in hand. Because if you really think about it, with all the knowledge and all the tools and all the knowledge and everything we know about anxiety connected to our nervous system and regulating that, and also our gut health, if that's supposed to be the answer, then why has no one solved their anxiety yet? But that's because it's the one place where no one is wanting to look, because no one either knows how to look, or no one wants to look that their emotions can actually fix it. Which again, I understand that's a tough thing to do. Which is why I want to get to that our emotional suppression and healing and processing through our emotional suppression is what can actually solve our anxiety. Because if our anxiety is created by us worrying about something, where does that worry stem from? It stems from how we emotionally interpret things and the fact that we don't know how to predict what is going to happen in the future. Because if we can't predict what's going to happen in the future, then if something happens, we get triggered and then we have to feel something. And if we don't know how to feel something, that's why our body goes into the symptoms of anxiety that it does. And is why we start to react emotionally with our anxiety as well. Because in that worry, if we don't know what's going to happen with something, it means we're not in control. If we're not in control, then that means we have to feel something. And we don't know how to feel our emotions just yet. If we learn how to uncover our suppression with feeling and expressing, if we learn how to uncover what it feels like to not know, and also how the not know or the unknown triggers us in that worry, and we're able to express that emotionally, and if we were able to heal through that worry, and if we were able to let go, then maybe we would be able to accept that whatever will happen will happen. If it turns out great, it turns out great. If it doesn't turn out great, then we feel what we have to feel in order to heal and in order to process what's just happened. And trust me, I know it's easier said than done. Because when we're in that state of anxiousness and when we're in that state of worry and our nervous system is reacting and that we're having the symptoms of anxiety that we do, we're so focused on how it's affecting us physically and physiologically that we haven't yet cracked how to interpret that emotionally. If we were to understand how emotionally we're feeling at the time, and if we were able to release and acknowledge what we're feeling in the time, then maybe that would allow us to let go, and that would allow us to validate how we're feeling in this anxious state, and it would be able to pass. Or if we were able to feel through this anxiety, then maybe we wouldn't be so anxious in the first place, because our emotional suppression and our nervous system then becomes regulated. No more anxiety. So I'll say it again, we can solve our anxiety if we uncover our emotional suppression and if we can heal through our emotional suppression.